right, guys, welcome to Unstuck with Hydro Wellness Lab, the podcast where real people share the real stories behind getting their lives, their bodies, and their mindsets back on track. I'm your host, Bretton Hunt, and in every episode, we dive into powerful conversations with athletes, weekend warriors, health and wellness professionals, and everyday people who refuse to settle. These are the breakthroughs, the setbacks, the mindset shifts, the moments that get us unstuck. All right, today, guys, I am joined by Hyatt Lang. Hyatt is a very accomplished athlete from Gilbert Christian here in Gilbert. He is committed to Black Hills University out in South Dakota to play football. He's going to play D-line. And he is also the recipient of the first ever Hydro Air Wellness Lab scholarship that we were able to give to him today. So I'm super excited to welcome Hyatt onto the show and just talk to him a little bit. So Hyatt, thanks for being here, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brendan. It's a privilege. It's awesome. I'm super excited to go play. Yeah, and I've applied for quite a few scholarships, but this one's definitely really cool. Especially getting to come here and check it out. Most places just shoot me an email, so this is a really cool opportunity.
That's awesome. So what's your first impression of the facility over there? What'd you think of the treadmills, the cryo? What'd you think of it all?
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I have never seen a gym with a heavy focus on sustaining and physical therapy. You know, I've seen like gyms that either get really big or physical therapy gyms, and those are obviously very different. But to see a gym like this where people can come work out in a way that's meant to be sustaining for them, and then seeing the machines that are there, that's really cool. I've never seen those kind of recovery machines being used. It was cool to be able to try some of them out. Cryotherapy, that seems like a really nice thing. Red light therapy, it seems like a really well invested too. Thing as well. Overall, I think it's a really, it seems also to me, I'd put the word as underrated because I've never seen that before. And so underrated is how I put it because it seems like a really beneficial thing that me not knowing about, I feel kind of left out.
Well, now you know, man. So when you're down here recovering or whatever, just hit us up and we'll help you out. And if you're one of Hyatt's teammates or you know Hyatt and you're like, hey, that looks pretty cool what he just did, hit us up. We'll hook you up. So, all right, you're a football player, right? But you've also played a lot of other sports, right? So what other sports did you play in high school and growing up?
Yeah, so I mean, I've played tackle football my whole life, but I've also played soccer. It's kind of what I started in high school as a goalkeeper. I played track. I did track my freshman year. That was short-lived, as well as men's volleyball my freshman year. But trying to think, I did baseball all the way leading up until high school. It really wasn't my thing. I couldn't really hit people, and that was kind of frustrating. But being able to do that in high school playing goalkeeper, I was able to do that as well. The soccer coach came to the football games and sat next to my parents and told them I should play soccer, and they laughed at his face and said I would never do that. And up until that point, I would have said the same thing. Then I went out and tried it out, put on the gloves, was told I'm allowed to hit people as long as I get the ball. And that's when I knew it was great. And so since I started playing, we won back-to-back state championships and made a state championship appearance my very first year. So I don't regret it. I loved it. But yeah, those are the sports that I've got.
So you didn't grow up playing soccer, really?
I did not grow up playing soccer. I've mainly been a football kid, and I did a little bit of club baseball. I played catcher.
Catchers don't have to hit.
No, catchers don't get to really do much either. So no, I've always been. I mean, football's been my main thing, and I'm pretty heavy on like not being a single sport athlete. So I've always tried to sprinkle in something along the lines to get movement across the board.
And why is that? Why would you say I don't want to be just a single sport athlete?
A few reasons. I'll put the first one is movement wise. I mean, I feel like and crossover as well. It's like playing football, everything's like, it's more power, hit. From where I play, it's a lot of lower body, and driving. And then to see that crossover to soccer when I play, being keeper, it's a lot of how high I can jump, how like bouncy and agile I could be. And then that transferred back over to football because now from my soccer training, I'm now light on my feet as opposed to playing football. Most high school football players, linemen, are not light on their feet. that's not something they do. So to be able to go from playing goalkeeper where I'm bouncing on my toes on the tops on the balls of my feet and I'm quick.
Mhm.
Um, those kind of crossovers are definitely big. Also, football, like for any single sport, that those movements is just a repetition of movements over and over.
Mhm.
And from what I've looked into, having playing multiple sports gives you a different range of movements, which is good if you're stuck to the same repetitive movements on the same muscles the same way. So that's
I,
from my
I
research.
love it. Yeah, I love that. I would agree with that. I think training your body to do different sports, it's also helping different muscles and all that rest for a little bit, right? Because the
Mhm.
muscles that you use in football are not going to be the same as the ones you use in soccer. You might
Exactly.
use some of them, but not
Yeah.
not in the same way.
Hmm.
So it gives them a time to rest. And like you said, it's the crossover there is just awesome. Like I played offensive line in high school, and yeah, us linemen we're not too light on our feet sometimes, right?
Yeah.
That's why we do footwork drills every day, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get light on our feet. But
Hmm.
I played football and basketball, and so and it's a different type of running, right? Basketball, it's an endurance thing, right? You're like, okay, I'm running back and forth. I got to pace myself and all
Hmm.
that stuff. Football, it's like, okay, let's go super hard. All right.
Hmm.
Break for a little bit, super hard, break, right? So
Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome that you're a multi sport athlete and that you had success in both
Hmm.
of them too. So that's great. So sounds like you were heavy into football. What was it about football that really was the thing you're like, man, this is what I love. I love playing football. I like hitting people. I like this. What was it about football that you loved so much?
That's a good question. I feel like it's hard because I love like I love football, and that's why I'm pursuing it at the next level. Um, but it builds it does more than just like I know it's kind of shaped me into who I am today. There's a big aspect of people say camaraderie. It's I say like family because I'm going out July 1st, so I'm gonna be out there early. I'm already gonna have a group of brothers once the school year starts in late August that I'm already super close with, and it's like you're going through all these things, and it's an outpour of emotion. It's a physical outpour. It's also an outpour of emotion. There's so much strain that goes into this sport, but when you're doing it with the same people, it's like that's a brothership. And I've been friends with people that I played football with 10 years ago, and so that's super cool. I love to be able to hit people. I love that it's a game of skill, but it's also a game of preparation. And I'm heavy on that. That means the amount of work that I've put in before, the amount of work the team has put in before, is going to directly correlate to how they play on the field. I'm a firm believer in hard work beats talent every day of the week. So um, I think that it's a great showcase, especially when it comes down to game, when it comes down to practice. I love competition. I love to be able to go against my buddies. we Me and my friends would get in trouble because we were about the same size, and every single day of practice it was a fight every single day to see who was better. And so I mean those kind of things, those kinds of competitions that you don't get from yes, you do get them from other sports, but like when we talk about soccer, it's like it comes straight down to numbers. When it comes down to basketball, yeah, there's things you can do. But like when it comes down to football, it's like, let's go head to head. And that's when you can see it.
I love it. Yes. Like I agree with you. Football was my favorite sport. Still love it to this day. My wife just telling me the other night, she's like, when I married you, I knew you liked football. And then after I married you, it's like, no, he really likes football. And he's like, yeah, because it is you get that brotherhood, right?
Mhm.
And not that you don't get it in other sports. Like I'm still friends with some of the kids I play basketball with, and all that, but
Absolutely, yeah.
there's something different about the brotherhood that you form as a football team.
Blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and like you said, you go head to head every day in practice and you're killing each other,
Hmm.
right? And you're trying to prove to them and yourself and everyone, like, I'm the best right here.
Yep.
You're not going to beat me from my spot. And the other thing that I like about football, and not that it's, again, not that it's not this way in other sports, but football is really the definition of a team sport, in my
Hmm.
opinion. In baseball, you could have a couple of really good players and they can carry you, right? As long as everyone else is decent, right?
Hmm.
Basketball, same thing. Soccer, yeah, if you have a couple really skilled players, like they can do some
Yeah.
really good things, right? Football, you could have a really good running back, you could have a really good quarterback. If your
Hmm.
line is terrible, nothing's going to happen,
Yeah.
right? If
Yeah.
your defense can't stop people, well, you're not going to do much, right? And so it really is a team effort to achieve the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah.
So I agree. I agree with that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Gilbert Christian is a 3A school.
3A school.
What would you say the most challenging part of that is? Being in Gilbert, where there's tons of other schools, right? There's tons of 6A programs, 5A programs. What was the most challenging thing about being a part of a 3A program, and what was the most, I guess, exciting thing about being a part of a 3A program?
Yeah. The first thing I'll say, I have two things. I'll say recruiting and competition. Recruiting wise, it was hard because you look at these games like Basher versus Hamilton, and there's 30 D1 coaches there, 30 D1 schools there, and it's like, this is crazy. We don't even have NAIA schools haven't even come out to our games.
Oh wow.
Our school, so being 3A, AI has a set number for it, but I think it's 500 or less, or about that, or about 550 or less, and that's right where our school sits. So, recruiting wise, schools just kind of overlook that, and the assumption is it's when they look at a 6A school, they're looking at the player. But from what I've been told from coaches that I've talked to, when you look at a 3A school player, it's like, okay, yeah, he looks really good, but who's the competition he's up against? And so when you're at a 3A school versus 6A school, 6A school will have, let's say, 300 boys show up to tryouts. For our school, we have 60 kids show up to tryouts, and that's the team. If you show up to tryouts, you're on. So that's the struggles with it. But at the same time, again, it's who wants to be there, and so that's why I put it that. Competition wise, for me, myself, I was almost always one of the biggest on the field. When it came to, there was usually sometimes 3 or 4 guys that are bigger than me, and they always would have been linemen, whether it's height or stuff like that. I mean, when it comes to, we had, I think, 1 or 2 games. The game I remember is Benjamin Franklin. We played a team that had 2 brothers. They were both 6'6", about 280. Those are the biggest dudes we played all year. And so competition wise, I had a lot of fun because I was kind of able to, 1, because preparation, 2, because of my size, and then 3, because of the training I had done before. So I had a lot of fun. I was kind of able to get through the line. I was usually about the same size, if not bigger, than the linemen on the other teams. And that was another thing when it came to competition. It's like teams put who they can where they can. And so you'll look at like our line probably had a total of 750. No, that's a little low, but like 900 pounds. That's hard to say because that's what 3 linemen would be like in the NFL or college.
Sure.
Football. So that was a challenge. You have like a 5'6", 210 center. And so for me to go up against that, I love it. But when we have to defend, because I also played tight end, I played both ways. Yeah, have to defend our quarterback. It's like, it's a challenge. And so that was also a fun part of it, though. So I kind of bounced around, but that's kind of what it was like.
I played at a 2A school.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm Thatcher, Arizona.
You played at Thatcher?
I did.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Thatcher booted us out of playoffs last year.
Did they?
Yep.
Yeah, Thatcher. That's where I played. But yeah, I think they're 3A now, but 2A at the time.
Yeah.
And man, yeah, that's exactly it. Like I said, I played lineman, and that's because I was one of the bigger kids, and that's where they needed me to play. And so our line, I mean, I played right guard. And so our tackle, the right tackle, was 220 pounds. I was 180. Our center was 160. Our guard was the left guard was the biggest kid weight wise, but he was the smallest kid. So he was about 5'6", and he was 270 pounds or something like that.
That's it. That's football.
And then, and then our tackle was 190.
Yep.
And that was our line, right? And it was, sometimes you line up against some other schools, you're like, whew, these guys are big boys.
You'll get a few like stud D linemen.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's scary.
It's scary, but it also made it fun. It made it fun, right? And playing both ways, and then I played the end and on the opposite side, and it's just fun.
That's
right.
Yeah, that's a blessing. It's a really cool because it's like, again, it's like I said earlier, blood, sweat, and tears, and it's like even if you lost every single game, which I had a season, we did lose every single game. It's like you're still getting so close to these guys.
Yeah,
so cool.
They're your brothers for life. no
Yeah.
matter what, right?
You
So
guys fight with each other, but you also like laugh. That's great.
yeah, you fight with each other, and the next minute you're hugging each other and
Sitting at team meal,
sitting
laughing
at
it
team
up.
meal and laughing at the fight you had.
Yep.
Yep. All right. So you mentioned recruiting
Mhm.
with that, and so yeah, I was not good enough to get recruited. I think the only quote offer that I got that our
Mhm.
whole team got was Eastern Arizona College is our neighbor, right? So literally
See.
right there, JUCO school, and the football coach came to he just called a meeting our senior year. He's like, "Hey, all of you guys are invited to spring ball."
Huh.
And I was like, "Yeah, no, not doing that."
Yep.
Yeah, and like I was a lineman. I knew I couldn't be a lineman in college,
Yeah.
and so I was like, "Yeah,
That's fair.
we're done." But so first off, congrats on getting recruited out of the
Thank you,
3A.
sir.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So, and you mentioned recruiting was one of those things that was a little harder to do. So, what was that process like for you to get recruited?
Yeah. So my school as well, we never really had a recruiting like coach like you have some bigger schools.
Mm.
And our school didn't really have a president. Like, so you'll see some schools like Williamsville or Basha, these schools that have um they'll have their coaches have Twitter accounts or X accounts, and they're
Mhm.
active on it, and they have a following, and they will build a reputation, and the reputation is like, I will put out good players to these college coaches that reach out,
Mhm.
and I won't. And so they built good reputations. Our school never had that. Our school never. Our coaches don't have X. And we brought it up, and we brought it up because I there was a time where I considered transferring. My sophomore year, I was going to transfer to Williamsfield, and go play there. I talked to the coach a little bit, um, but I ended up not because of everything I had in life besides football.
Mm.
But it was a lot. We ended up getting a recruiting coach, a recruiting coordinator, personal one. And he was super helpful when it came to reaching out. He had a solid reputation. And I would call him every couple days, and we would just go over. He'd build he'd help me build my profile. We'd look over huddle highlights. We'd recreate things. We'd clip highlights, make it certain. We were basically a social media manager, but specifically for football, and he was super good when it came to that. And that was I'd say the key thing. He also helped build me my camp schedules, and camp schedules are a massive thing when it comes to if you want to play at the next level, you have to have a camp schedule every single summer. You have to know where you want to go. If you have a set college that you're like, this is where I want to go play, obviously that's helpful. I didn't at the time, and so I was just attending camps. And my freshman year, that was the biggest mistake because I accidentally was attending the money grab camps, the camps where it's like you pay $250. They say there's 30 colleges there. They're all JUCO and NIA schools. They just get college coaches out there because they can.
Mhm.
Um, Later on, after we got the recruiting coordinator, I ended up going to camps that actually mattered to me. So I'd spend a weekend up in Montana, where I went to Bozeman and Missoula. Went to both those camps, came down, had great conversation with the coaches, made time after with them to talk. We ended up, and communication is a big thing. And it's hard because you'll message coaches and they won't respond.
Mhm.
That's just how it is. But when you get the outlets, like, okay, I went to the camp, and instead of talking to the coach who's swamped with 30 other kids that just want to say something, I just want to say thank you
Mhm.
and potentially get recognized. You have to find a player that already has an offer. Find a player that already has an offer. I got the coach's phone number from there, and that's how I messaged the coach. The coach ended up looking into me um, at University of Montana, and I ended up we got a visit the day before the camp. Super great. It was awesome. Um, it's a game of connections. It's hard. It's hard because it's a game of connections, and coming from a 3A school, you don't have those connections. At these big schools, again, Bash at Hamilton, these games where you have 30 D1 colleges, the coaches have to message the high school coach to get there, and that's just how it is. And so it's a troubling, and it was a really hard process. From 3A, at the end of the day, I think it paid off, and the way I put it is it made it feel all the better to be able to say I'm committing to this school from a 3A school. And so that's how I put it. I don't know. There's a lot that goes into it. And there's a couple times where I was like, if I don't have an offer by the end of the month, I think I'm going to be done with football.
Mhm.
And that was a really hard time for me. Especially since like that was that was my mindset. And it was
Yeah.
hard. It was hard later to think back on it. Like that was my mindset. But like when I look back on it, it was like coaches wouldn't talk to me. And that's how it was. And it hurt too even more. Cause it's like, I would talk to the other high school coaches of teams we played and they're like, you're a great player. Like you're going to play at the next level. And it was like, it's a great idea. Like I'd love to do that too. But like, and so, and so my former high school coach, he, he ended up leaving and going to our rival school. Not our rival school, another school in 3A.
Mhm.
And but he still has been a key help. He's been very active on X since probably my eighth grade year. So he built a reputation, he built a thing. Um, he went to Ben Franklin, and so he having these 6'6", like 280-pound linemen, one of them committed to AFCU with a 4.5 GPA. Those are really good reputations that look good on the coach. And so he was able to talk to me and help me a lot with my recruiting journey as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's his name?
His name is Danny Norris.
Shout out Coach Norris.
Danny
Yeah.
Norris. Yeah. Very, very helpful. Very, very great. He's a great dude as well.
That's
He's a great
awesome.
dude.
Hey, I love that. I mean, just this is my own opinion on stories like this. I mean, you wanted it so bad, right? And you're just like, people are telling me that I can do this, but
Mm-hmm.
no one's seeing it, right? And so to me, I feel like you got that chip on your shoulder. Like, I'm going to show y'all
Mm-hmm.
like what you're missing out on, right? Like,
Yeah.
I am a good player, right? And I can do this. And so I think that's only going to be beneficial for the program that you're going to be a part of and the teammates that you have. You'll carry that with you. And because you did feel that, I won't say neglected, but just that's like no one.
Yeah.
I was overlooked, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's awesome. So again, congrats on that. And what was it about South Dakota when you went there that was you're like, okay, because you mentioned I visited Montana, I was up at Montana's camps,
Yeah.
enjoyed it. What was it that spoke to you about South Dakota specifically? You're like, yep, I'm committing here. This is
Yeah.
where I'm going.
No, that's good. There's obviously multiple reasons that are a factor into it. Location being one of them. So South Dakota, I mean, if you imagine South Dakota, I'm assuming it's like you're thinking like kind of flat, kind of not a whole lot. The area where I'm going now, Spearfish, is right in the Black Hills. So I'm 20 minutes away from Mount Rushmore. And if you've ever been to that area, it's like you're in the middle of the forest. It's so cool. I'm a big outdoors person. I love to go camping, hiking, fishing. Um, I like to just go out and just
Mhm.
spend nights outside. And so that's a big thing for me. And obviously it's not a realistic thing during football season,
Sure.
but I have so much time after that. Where yes, I am going to classes, but at the same time, like college is built around college life.
Yeah.
And so I have a ton of buddies there that are willing to do that, want to do the same thing. I'm gonna get like hunting. So there's a lot of things related to outdoors that really, really drew me in. They also have a snowboarding mountain 30 minutes away from there. And so I've grown up my whole life, snowboarding, skiing. And so that was a big drawing for me. I know it sounds crazy. I'm from Arizona, but
Hey.
we take trips to Colorado or Big Bear,
Yeah.
California, and we'll go there. Um, and then another thing was the coaching staff. Coaching staff has been a big thing. One of the things that drew me away from some other colleges were, hey, I had talks with the coaching staff, and then I also have talks with players, and it was like they love football, they love to play football, and the coaches love football too, but they just seem miserable, and the relationships seem really poor. Um, but like even walking in for my visit, um, the coaches all knew me by name. It was awesome. On my visit, they took us on. They took us. I went in one of the coaches' cars with me and my parents, and they drove us around all of Spearfish and Rapid, and they just showed us everywhere. I just talked. We just talked. It was great, and it never felt more like it was authentic. It wasn't. It wasn't as much of like a conversation like, what can we say that'll draw this player in?
Mhm.
It was like, hey, like, oh yeah, look over here. Like you can see this is where we need to grow, but like we're still a work in progress. Another big thing directed football related is just a really young team. So they ended up having one of my buddies that went up there, Carter Ochoa. He played his freshman year as a tight end. So they burned his red shirt, which now with NCAA rules, they've kind of eliminated the red shirt.
Mhm.
But last year they burned his red shirt and he ended up playing his freshman year as a tight end. So they're a very young team. They've had last season was not the best for them, but they're a successful team otherwise. And I'm feeling like going into this next upcoming years, their young team will going to grow into a much more successful program. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of what's the word? It looks like it's very much on the up and up, and I'm very very excited to go out there. I also have some family out there, so I will get homesick. I know that, and I have a big family. I have 6 siblings, myself included,
Wow.
and so family's kind of everything to me. So
Yeah,
I will get homesick, and so having some family out there that I can go have dinner with one night on the weekend is definitely encouraging.
that's awesome. That's so cool. So speak a little bit to someone right now who maybe they're an eighth grader, maybe it's a parent of someone
Hmm.
who's got a kid that's maybe feeling overlooked. Okay, and they want to play at the next level too, and they're trying, they're doing everything, they're lifting, they're going to
Hmm.
practice, they're being active on their social media, they're messaging coaches, all this stuff, and they're just not seeing the results. What would you tell that parent? What would you tell that player, that
Hmm.
kid, to help
Hmm.
them get through that?
Yeah, so this is directly football related is how I'll put
Sure.
this because recruiting when it comes to other sports is so different. Like
Mhm.
basketball recruiting doesn't really take place on X, neither do other sports. So football related, it's this is also kind of controversial, but as a parent, I would create your child's Twitter or X account if we're talking freshman year and even below, because you look at, I mean, social media nowadays, X is yes, you curate your algorithm and everything is directly for football, and then it is football. And so like if I open up my X, all it is football.
Mhm.
But it's a dangerous. I mean, I hate to say this, but it's a really bad uh, world. And
Yeah.
so you when I had first gotten it, I ended up sharing it with my parents because I was like I opened up and I was like, wow, this is a really broken um, world system.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Um, and so you'll get all these really weird kinds of messages and whatnot. And so I don't. That's kind of the weird part of it. But as a parent, for somebody who's much younger, I would say create your account while you're young. Um, Go through and you just follow accounts, follow a ton of people, and you want to get highlights out early, and you have to focus on not making your like yeah, you on your personal Instagram, post all the like tough pictures and all the cool videos and whatever. But when it comes to X, you're building it like it's your resume. And so when a coach clicks your profile, like your headshot should be a picture of yourself, like a almost like a picture of you in your uniform, but like a headshot. It shouldn't be you wearing a shiesty with eye black covering your skin and then the helmet on. Like that completely defeats the purpose. And then a coach, when you walk in on a visit, isn't going to know who they're looking for. They're just going to know a name.
Mm.
Um, Another thing is your bio. Like in your bio, you have to have the key stats. So we'll start with your graduating year, height, weight, um, your GPA. Your GPA is a big thing. I'll take a second on that in a second, and then you'll have maybe your key accomplishments. So let's say first team all region,
Mhm.
first team all state. Those are really big. Um, People that include their bench max or VERS might be key, but bench max, squat max, like coaches aren't looking for that, and coaches aren't looking like when it comes to college. Yes, they do the maxes in the weight room, but that's not a coach. If a coach sees a 500 squat, like yeah, that's cool and all. Yeah, you're strong, but like let's see what you can do for like 8 reps because that's what's
Sure.
key at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, GPA is a big thing, and that's especially for parents. Parents going in, I'm grateful because my parents were on me very much so about my grades, and at the end of the day, your GPA is money,
Mhm.
and it's like again, time is money as well. So the amount of time that you're putting into your GPA is directly going to correlate to how much money you're paying for college. And so a big thing for me and that I my biggest piece of advice is no matter how good you are, if you have a 2.0 GPA, you're going to get overlooked. And your GPA is a direct, not direct, it is a very close um, image of your character and how you pursue things. Because if it's something that you don't care about, let's say there's something football related, like I don't know, keeping something tidy. like your rooms, because football is about discipline as well. If it's something that you don't care about, for example, like your grades, the coach can see like, oh yeah, he's got 2.0 GPA, like that's gonna impact our team.
Mhm.
And that's also a thing that coaches get looked at for is a team GPA. Team GPA is an important thing for college, and so that you need to show up, like being present to class, even just showing up. You're not going to have that bad of a GPA, and so it's like I think that's a key. That is the biggest thing. No matter how good you are, if you have a bad GPA, you're not really going anywhere. And so that's what I would encourage to young parents, and kids that are even just thinking about it. Take your grades seriously. It's not not cool to do like assignments. Like I feel like in high school, like that's kind of some of the things I saw. It's like, oh, I didn't do it. Like, and kids like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like that's just like it's just not. It's just not. So yeah, that's what I would say. Talk to your coaches about your highlight reels, because yeah, it's cool if you post like, sure, like 6 picks in a row, but it's like coaches aren't just looking at what kind of play it is. Like, yeah, you want your key plays, the best plays you've had in your season, or usually you're going to create 3 game highlights.
Mhm.
But focus on movement. So like for me, it'd be like a downfield tackle, and then a pursuit tackle, and then maybe a shed, and then and even if it's important too, because it's not exactly, you're highlighting yourself, yes, and that's what it should be about. But also, it's not about you necessarily making the play. So like, so another highlight I have somewhere is me killing the kick. That's a big thing because I stop the momentum, even though I'm not the one that makes the tackle. It showcases that it's bigger than myself. And a
Mhm.
coach wants to see that as well, because a coach doesn't want a team of selfish dudes that are just there because it's about them.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
I don't know. There's a lot when it comes to recruiting as well.
Yeah.
But that deserves a lot of time. But I'd say if you're from a smaller school, having a recruiting coordinator or getting a recruiting coach is worth it in the long run.
Love it. Thank you for all that detail. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. What's the biggest lesson you learned through all your years of playing football? What's the biggest lesson you learned?
Oh goodness.
A lesson that you'll carry into
Yeah.
college?
No, that's good. The biggest thing I learned is, oh, if I had to put a word to it, it's being humble. And I think it's hard because, again, me from a 3A school, it's like it's so easy to be egotistical about it, because it's like, come to look at the numbers, like I was one of the best players on the field at all times. And so there was a time, it was like my sophomore junior year, where it's like I'm the best. Like I'm playing, even if I don't show up to practice, like, I'm going to play. And that's all that mattered to me. Um, and that was detrimental to my character and how I was looked at.
Mhm.
Um, because yeah, I could proudly say it, and it was known. I had articles to prove it. I had numbers to prove it. And I had the awards. I had the awards that went to show it. But at the end of the day, it was like, all right, he's just an egotistical, like, kind of jerk. And so it's like that, like, yeah, you should be able to back what you're saying. But ultimately being humble, and what I've learned from football has carried me into all the other aspects of leadership that I've been in. Um, Being student body president, um, having having the mindset learned from football, like it's not about you. It's a team effort, and it's like servant leadership is a big thing. And I've learned that from being humble when it comes to football. I think that is what set me, and what's kind of aligned me, not only for college, but for years to come, for life, really. Um, it's people say, it's coaches say when they at the start of seasons, like, we're developing youth men.
Mhm.
And I agree. I fully agree. I think it's going to help me ultimately one day in my marriage. I think it's going to help me, as a leader in the future. I think it's helping me now as I walk through my days as a teenager. Um, I think, yeah, I think it's humbled me. It's like completely torn me down, but it's also put me at points where I've been so high esteemed, high elevated, that it's like I feel like I'm on top of the world, but that's the most dangerous spot. And so being able to be torn down, built by this, and now being aligned by it, I think that humbling, humble ego. I think those are kind of the biggest life lessons I've learned.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love it. You're wise beyond your years, brother. That's awesome. All right. Two more questions for you. What does what do you want the future to look like for you? Like, where do you see yourself? Let's just fast forward 5 years.
yeah,
Where do you see yourself?
yeah. So we'll say 5 years from now, it would be my goal. My goal is to play 5 years of college football,
Okay.
especially with the red shirt being burned.
Mm-hmm.
I have 5 years of eligibility, so it's like I can do with that as I want. So my goal is 5 years from now, I'll be starting to get my MBA.
Okay.
I'm going to go study business administration. So my goal is to start getting my MBA to kind of get me on track for after college. My goal 5 years from now is to be a starter, playing consistently, and hopefully still a DM. I mean, we'll see what happens, but yeah, I think 5 years from now, I think I'm going to be a college guy. I'm hoping to have a job at a local church somewhere. So outside of football,
Mhm.
outside of when I was student body president, outside of all of that, I'm an audio engineer. So
Okay.
I go around the valley and I work with local churches and help them when it comes to anything sound. I also do it around for other things. So like weddings and stuff like that. I'll end
Cool.
up mixing for live bands. And so
Awesome.
that's kind of my area. I've been in that as well. So I'm hoping to get a job or contract because that's kind of my main thing. I'm hoping to contract locally around there. And so by that time, hopefully have like a kind of set reputation when it comes to that as well. Um, yeah, 5 years from now, I don't know. I feel like I just want to be able to say 5 years from now, I want to be able to say like I've lived my call, like I've had a great time in
Mhm.
college. That's kind of how I'd said it. I don't know.
Awesome. What about 10?
10 years from now, I'm hoping to be married 10 years from now. I've obviously like if it comes to it, NFL's awesome. NFL's never been my dream because I don't know. Every single time I've thought about it, it's like, all right, let's be let's be realistic and let's also like be set to like what's to come and what I could miss out on doing that.
Mhm.
Um, Also, and I don't know why I was thinking about this like 5 years ago when I was 13, but like if I get injured, like me playing and the ability of me to play at a high level and execute what I'm supposed to execute is what's ultimately putting food on the dinner table, which is which is I have no idea why this was like my thought process a long time ago. Now it makes sense, but
Mhm.
like that's what I thought. And so that's kind of always pushed me away from it because like, yeah, I might be pursuing what I want, but also 10 years from now, I'd be 28 and I would hope to be married and maybe have a kid, maybe have a couple kids at that time. I don't want that to be reliant on how I play. And
Mhm.
also that's a lot of time. I
Yeah.
mean, you see they're traveling and then when it's in season, it's like, that's a lot. And then out of season, it's like, yeah, less, but it's a full-time job and more.
Mhm.
And so, and I mean, the burdens from it, I've also thought about like the burdens of playing in the NFL after are just a little like what's the wear and tear going to be on my body from then on
Sure.
out. And so, yeah. And I don't know if we believe in like the CTE kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard and there hasn't been a whole lot of research into it enough to like to disprove like long lasting effects, but that also being a thing that's been detrimental to families
Yeah.
of players, and not even just NFL, college and high school athletes. As high school athletes that'll play with a concussion, and then after high school kids they'll get a concussion, and then they'll go drink, and then they'll go play the next Monday and hit their head again, and then it's like they're
Yeah.
fried, and so I mean that's the reality of it though is it's like that's another thing. But 10 years from now, I'm hoping to have one day I want to be a CEO. That's kind of one of my dreams, and so to be in line and set for that and have a family and have a stable income and a house, that's kind of and a dog, cool dog.
There you go.
That's a dream of mine. That's a dream of mine.
Love it.
Yeah. And
Love it, man. I like the way you're thinking. I mean, that's way cool. It's like, yeah, that's NFL or die, right? It's like you're thinking about it and you didn't rule it out completely. You're just like,
yeah,
okay, mate, if
it's
it
a cool
happens,
opportunity.
yeah, if the situation arises,
Hmm.
great. right? But it's not like you're like, I'm not putting all my eggs in this basket.
Absolutely.
And I love that. That's very wise, very mature of you. So, last question for you.
Mhm.
Title of the podcast, Unstuck, right? We all get stuck in our lives, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, financially for
Mhm.
people. That everyone gets stuck at one point or another, sometimes multiple times. What would you tell someone that is feeling stuck? And what advice would you give them to help them become unstuck? Someone your age, what would you tell them?
In what aspect? Like, yeah.
They just come to you like, hey, Hyatt, I just feel stuck. I'm
Mhm.
trying, everything in my life's going wrong. This is going wrong. Like emotionally, I'm feeling this way, and and I'm trying to get recognized by the football coach, and I'm doing everything. Nothing's happening.
Mhm.
They're just stuck.
Mhm.
What would you tell
No, that's a great question. And when it comes to today's day and age, it's easy for kids to be like, I'm gonna isolate and I'm just
them?
gonna sit on my phone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, and it's like that's, I mean, that's just the way it is now. And it's hard too because like when you have parents that don't necessarily understand the what like it's hard to say like other adults your would be your parents like don't understand. It's like, what are you doing on your phone all day?
Mhm.
Because parents also, it's new. It's newer.
Yeah.
It's in the past 20 years that this kind of stuff has become a thing where people have curated algorithms. Like dopamine from sitting on their phone and scrolling.
Mhm.
Um, like don't isolate. That is the worst thing. And I'm not saying don't like have social media, don't scroll. Like I'm not anti that.
Sure.
But isolating and not talking to people is gonna make it worse. And I'm not saying like worse before it gets better. It's gonna make it worse, and you're gonna dig yourself into a deeper hole that until you give that up, you won't be getting out of that hole. You can't like this sounds weird because it's not like I mean people call it the new drug, but it's not. You're not like scrolling your problems away. Is how I'll put it. Because ultimately you're just gonna get more insensitive. But I actually talked about this in my graduation speech. It was my senior charge. There's going to be times where you're going to feel stuck, and there's going to be times where you feel like there's nowhere else to go, but you need to keep moving forward and and trusting that every single day there's going to be something new that's big. And so trusting that and having resources, um, having a brother, a sister, a parent. I mean, those are all having a friend, just somebody that you can trust and talk to. That's going to be what's going to set you. Um, having having a sibling that you can, I don't know, 10 p.m. at night, you're going through at 11 and being like, let's go to McDonald's, let's go get McFlurries. Like in that, even that quality time, and you got to think about more than just yourself. You're like for them too. That's like these kinds of things are things that you're going to remember, but it's also if you're in a low spot, like I would say isolating is the worst thing you can do. And then on the positive side of the resource is have people to talk to. And there's people, there's resources everywhere. And it's like it's hard because when you're in this situation where you're low, um, you're kind of stuck where it's like, I feel like there's nowhere for me to go. And I've been in this situation before and you're kind of your body's like kind of telling you there's nowhere for you to go. And that's kind of what like the devil wants you to think is how I put it. It's like that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But I would say like you're not isolated. You have to talk to somebody. And believe it or not, more times or less, people are going through the same thing that you're going through. And you're never alone in the situation that you're facing. You might think like I'm in a situation so unique, like if I tell somebody nobody's gonna know what to even think of this. But like no, you truly are never alone in the situations that you're facing. And there are other people that go through it. And those people are usually closer than you think. And those people probably found a resource that is somewhat not you, but other people know about it. And the way that they seem so good and they're able to uphold themselves so well that you don't even know about it is because they've shared it with other people. And they're able to de-stress or vent about it because they have somebody that they can lean on. And so I'd say a a quick action is don't isolate yourself.
Mhm.
And then the next step would be have somebody to talk to, have a resource, have something, someone you can go to. And yeah, that's what I put it at.
I love it, man. That you speak very, very great words of wisdom. That sounded really weird, but that's how it is. Like you are 18 years old saying something like that. It's super mature. That's super wise, and just that's amazing. That's a
Thank
credit
you.
to your parents and the way you raised and just decisions that you've made personally. So
Thank you, sir.
that's amazing. So real quick before I let you go, you're headed off to South Dakota here in July,
Sir.
and I want to. I love football and I
Yeah.
love watching local kids play. I mean, especially nowadays with the way college is, I just love
Mm-hmm.
watching local kids just play and be successful. So, how can people out there watch you? How can they follow your journey
Yeah. Thank you.
as you
Yeah.
continue?
Yeah, absolutely. So I I haven't looked into it enough to the point where I have like a set answer, but I've had like my grandparents, I had my
Mhm.
principal reach out like hey, how can we follow you? And
Yeah.
so and I love having local people rally around a player that's in a different state. That's a key. That's an important thing to me. And that like that truly shows value. Um as of now, you can look up Black Hills State.
Okay.
They're in the RMAC, so they're not playing any schools in Arizona. There's not D2 schools in Arizona, actually.
Okay.
But the farthest south they'll come down is Colorado.
Okay.
So you can look up their site, Black Hills State Football, and you'll be able to see their list of games, and then they have a few sites that they stream it on. And so I believe they're some of them are free. So you have options. But yeah, and they're quality. They're not like a high school huddle live like replay. They're decent. They're decent quality in their games. It's a D2 conference, so it's a there's a lot of people that will sit down and watch these games, and so it's they put quality, they put work into it. So I believe if you just go to their site, Black Hills State, Black Hills State football, you'll be able to see their schedule, and then you can look it up anywhere. Black Hills State versus Western Colorado, and then those games will populate. And so that's the best way I'd put it. They're very up to date with their athletics team in correlation with the marketing team. I would assume is very up to date with like articles about games. They update numbers on their website very quickly. Very detailed when it comes to like player bios and all these things. I think mine's already up there. So
Oh, sweet.
which is pretty cool. So yeah, you can see all those things online.
Do you know what number you're wearing yet?
I do not know yet. I think I don't, and I'm thinking that all the freshmen and sophomores wouldn't know yet unless they were started last year. But I mean, 2 is a cool number, especially the D end, and that's what I've rocked.
Okay.
I have a feeling I'm going to be some high 60s number. We'll see. I'm okay. Honestly, at the end of the day, I got to go play. I'm super excited about that either way.
Awesome. I'm excited for you. So look, I'm a football junkie, so I'll find a way to watch. And
Let's go.
I wish you nothing but the best, man. But hey, thanks for taking time
Thank
out
you
of
so
your
much.
day to
Absolutely.
be a part of this. We appreciate it. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it out. If something resonated with you and you think that could help someone else, please share it. That's what we want this to be. Hyatt, best of luck to you, man. Congratulations on the scholarship.
Absolutely.
I'm Brett and Hunt, and this was Unstuck. And remember that progress begins with one step, and we'll see you next time.